transition, but hello everybody. Hello. Hope you are all doing well. Last time I worked on this. You can see him there. And I'll see what I can do today. Hopefully you can hear me properly. Wonder if I'm not messing up the page. Well, that's far out enough. So it shouldn't. Welcome. Let's turn this on. Hopefully I can see and hear your messages. Sometimes people join and the messages don't appear for whatever reason. Just gonna check the sound real quick. There you go. So good. Alright. Let's just try this out. Just gonna set something here. We'll see. Alright. Let's try to do something decent today. Not the best lighting. Oh my god. You know, it's a pain when your gear starts to mess with you. But you try. What is this? Alright. Okay. So I'm going to try to do a character. You know, I kept on thinking about the film that I was talking about yesterday. 28 years later, I kind of enjoy scary films to some extent. It's a interesting part of filmmaking. There have been a bunch of really good films in recent times. Some of them super freaking scary. There's I was mentioning yesterday that there are certain films that I don't really mess with. They're like too much for me. I like scary films to an extent, but not all of them. So I don't know. I ask myself where the fascination comes from. It's definitely interesting. I think it might be like a way to experience like really vivid stuff within the comfort of your home in some way, the same way that like a funny film, a comedy film, makes you enjoy the moment a lot, you know. when they're good. I don't know. I think it might be related to that. It's a way to experience something extreme without the reality of it, dealing with the all the comes with said experience. Yeah, this is too much. I think I'm missing the mark. You win some, you lose some. I used to work on a place that was on a like on an office building that gets to a shopping mall. we were A lot of us were really into zombie films, so we used to talk about what we would do in a zombie apocalypse. Thinking of where to get resources, uh, depending on where we were at the time. Like, well, if we're here, we can figure out. And I don't remember if there was a supermarket. I think there wasn't, but at least there was a food court. So that would be the hardest part. But there was like a armory in a part of the thing. So okay, maybe we can probably get there and get some supplies there. I think it was also that we tried to play. I was like, okay, this is too stressful for me. We started playing Left 4 Dead. That game is so stressful. I like it has some really interesting stuff, but I don't like that it has like this, like the bloaters and a bunch of different types of zombies, and I find that kind of weird. Hi Stephanie. All good. I think the drawing is not going all that great, but here I am, doing the best I can. You know? wonder, at times, I wonder if I just hit the best I could be. It annoys me when I don't get a drawing right, but I think that's everyone. That can happen to anyone. It's frustrating because you're in a fight with yourself. Yeah, it happens. Hmm. I think my daughter woke up. She's upset. Poor baby. I think they get upset when they cannot sleep. Uh, they they don't understand discomfort the way an adult does. So, well, that's argue. Like you can argue about that. I don't think some adults understand discomfort either, but that's a different type of conversation. This is a freaking mess. What did I do with this face? It looks terrible. I hate this drawing. Why does this happen to me? Well, do not complain. I was listening to somebody saying that you, if you complain, your brain kind of creates a path of complaint and it kind of ends up in this loop. So it's better if you don't put sunglasses. I think I can fix it. What bothers me is the semi unibrow I made. But I might be able to address it. I don't know. Maybe this is part of it. No, there's plenty that I don't like about this. Anyway. Yeah, this is one of those drawings that I hate. It looks better with what I did there. Maybe I can fix this too. Not ideal, but well, you can see that I also make mistakes. So don't keep drawing it. Yeah, it's like I'm a completionist. Is that what they say? Well, like when you're in a game and you want to get all the missions, you're gonna do all the things that you need to do to complete the game. I also have a thing for uh, accepting discomfort when I can. Perfectionism, is it? Could be. I feel the need to finish it to an extent, even if it's terrible. The perfectionist would be me criticizing myself about the drawing being terrible, I think. But the other side of it is me to finish it. Yeah, that sometimes works too. Doesn't work always though. I also don't like that I this bothers me all the time when I start a drawing and then I have like this the feet goes off frame by a little bit. This bothers me so much. the the OCD within me. It's like, oh my god, why? Why? Anyway, well, I guess it's all things considered. It looks a little bit better than I originally thought, but not great. Um, yeah, there's something wrong here with the eye. I think that eye is it's too small to fix properly, but that's the weirdest arm I've made recently. I've made a bunch of robots and mechs that kind of have this insect-like thing to them. And it's easy for us to see them in that way because they're really far from human or from mammal, so it's easier for us to position them in that sort of classification, or yeah, whatever you want to call it. Uh, Still not convinced, but a little bit better than what I had. Kind of with this replay type thing. Bife or whatever. This hands I would change them, but it is what it is. I guess it turned into a mixture of Alien with trying to remember the other film, well, Gravity, and there's a bunch of other ones. Speaking of which, there's a really good series that I think it was picked up by Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. What's the name of it? Why does this happen to me? It's about three different settlements of people. There were still people on Earth, people on Mars, and what they called in the series Belters that lived on basically um, like rocks in space. That series it's really good. It's really interesting, and it goes a little bit into uh, human enhancements. Like there were some characters that had implants on them. Yeah, asteroid belts. Um, what's that series? It's a really good series. Let me give you the name because I don't want to butcher it. I tend to butcher those things. I'm terrible with names. I wish I was better with that. And must be top 6 for me at least. Probably not for some other people. Uh, I'm looking through the list. Of course, the X Files appears. Fringe, which is Fringe is freaking awesome. I saw it with my wife recently. I never saw the entire thing when it originally came out, but I saw it uh, now, and it's really nice. Um, Let me go more directly. Yeah, no worries. See ya. Thanks for joining. The Expanse. It was it was like burning my tongue. The Expanse is the name of the series. Yeah. So, according to the internet, the series you're referring to is The Expanse. It features a conflict between three main factions: Earth, Mars, and the Belt, inhabitants of the asteroid belt. It's a really good show. If you haven't and you enjoy that sort of thing, oh, check it out. I wish they would have made more, but I think it's also risky with certain shows to go too overboard, and it's better to end them when they're good rather than on a low note or when they're going down. So yeah, that's a show I enjoyed. That's really nice. This reminds me a little bit of that. You would have to see it to understand why. Anyhow, 41 minutes. 41 minutes is not too bad, I don't think. It's more like 30 minutes if you think about it, because it's minus 10 minutes with the intro I set up. Keeping shows and films to watch for the winter. Other three seasons work during the day, and outside land work until dark. And yeah, it the thing is, once I start watching something, I want to watch the entire thing. Um, but yeah, for a lot of people, it's better to watch every now and then. Like that way, you don't run out in 2 seconds. Like I tend to binge watch stuff during weekends, or when I don't know, when I cannot fall asleep. Yeah, exactly. With books happens the same thing. That you wanna keep going until you get to the next chapter, or until you finish it. There's certainly some books that are like that. I haven't found. Well, I think it's also that I don't have that much money to spend on books, and it's different when you have a house, like a house of your own that you can fill with books, and but they occupy a lot of space, and well, it's good to read. It's a great thing to have as a practice. Or I wish I would read some more. I My wife enjoys reading way more than me, and way more on the visual things. I really like shows and films and that sort of thing, documentaries, and maybe depends on the nature of the person. In my case, I get too impatient, so reading can be like, it can turn into a chore if the book is not, it's not, I'm not fully into it. um, it can turn into a chore for me. So it has to be something that I really want to read. That way I go through it really quickly, or as quickly as I can. So I don't know, it depends. Yeah. Yeah, books are their own world. There's, I don't think nothing compares to like having a really nice book to read, and like the thing about having like an object that you can interact with, and a tactile aspect to it. I don't think there's any way to replace it. Yeah, especially if they're old books, they have a really distinctive. I think it has a name even. It has a particular thing to them. Yeah, CDs a little bit less because I think I don't see it as vintage or in the same way as I do with other things because they're from my time. Uh, so like definitely vinyl and that sort of thing. Those my mom used to have a bunch of vinyls. Like that was what existed before, and we had a bunch of them. I think she got rid of them. It's sad to think about because those things, like those are memories that you can have forever, and uh, I think we don't think about those things in that way when we still have them around, so we start throwing stuff away or giving it away, and like, oh damn, I wish I had this thing that I had. So it's like more memorabilia. It's part of your history. Might not be the actual thing. It might be the memory that is attached to it. Because those, for example, those that I'm talking about, they were on my childhood home. So not having those, it kind of reminds me that that home doesn't exist anymore. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I think there's some really nice ones. My the ones that my mom had, like I don't particularly like the ones that she had, but it's the memories attached to those. Uh, she had really like it was her taste of music, and I don't remember if there were any that were my dad's. I don't really know. Yeah, but it only exists there, so it's I don't know. I don't know where I heard something like this because if you're a migrant like myself, or anybody that's a migrant, if you ever go back to your uh, place of origin, your mind is connected to a place that doesn't really exist anymore in the same way. So it goes to what you're saying. It exists in your memories only. Yeah. Whoever figures out it, we're getting there. But it's I don't know if I would trust anybody with my memories. But apparently they're working on a bunch of AIs that can if there's this new technology that uses headphones, a specific type of headphone that reads your, I think it's your uh, brain signals. So that they connected to an artificial intelligence, and that translates whatever you're thinking about into images. So that is kind of scary. Yeah, yeah, no, I understand what you mean. Uh, what I'm saying is that it would be awesome if, on the same way, I don't know if you remember, or if you've seen that film, that there in Harry Potter, there's this thing where they pull memories out of the person, and they put it on like a vessel of sorts, so they can, you can actually see the memories of the person. Anybody can see them. So like you can turn it into an archive of your memories, or wherever you're extracting memories from. So with that same idea, I wonder if you could preserve your memories for when you're older, or uh, for like to show other people, like for example my grandkids, like, oh, here is where I used to live, this is what I experienced, or that sort of thing. So I find that interesting, and at the same time, I don't know if I would trust anyone with my memories. Like that that should be private. In RoboCop, I'm trying to remember. I know that there was, they could see, in RoboCop, if I remember correctly, they could see what he could see. Like if he was having flashbacks about whatever happened to him, that they could see those in a screen. And I think they tried to delete them, and the whole part of the thing is that he starts to get back his identity, which is, yeah, that's a, you hit the nail right on the head. RoboCop is a great film, uh, in that regard, in science fiction, because it's he was basically not existing anymore. So yeah, he he crossed to the other side, and they brought him back, and whatever was left is what they put together. Uh, well, technically he was alive. They just like brought him back from flatlined. Uh, I think, well, I don't remember if he was like a brain. I think he was like the torso with no arms and no legs, if I remember correctly. And on the new version that they made, they really showed like the torso with like the whatever was left of the person. I don't remember. I have to check. I don't remember if RoboCop that was the case. He was like most of him was robotic for sure. But it's really interesting. There was one that was um, a brain. That I think it was on the second one. On the second one, was it? Like this mechanical weird robot. That one was creepy. He was like, even as just a brain, he was like addicted to a substance that they would give him. That those films, that those are not, that those are really adult theme. Uh, the funny thing is, I saw those as a kid. Like, granted, I saw it with like my family. It wasn't like uh, me watching it on my own, but and it was a different time. Uh, like, the farther you go into the past, the less people care about certain things. And yeah, I remember watching that film. Uh, but it was really interesting. Yeah, they had some really cool stuff. For I think it was the second one, like those animatronic stuff. Well, those weren't. There were parts that were animatronic, and there were others that were stop frame, like frame by frame animation, like the, I don't know, like a tank thing that would walk. I think the one that animated that was the same guy that worked on Star Wars, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to check that, but I think it was. And yeah, it's like, I used to watch that kind of film, and I was like fascinated with it. Yeah, like way back when nobody. I think I was watching. I don't remember where it was, but somebody was saying that it was. I think it was a comedian that was saying, like, before, uh, uh, parents wouldn't pay that much attention to kids, to the point that they would have a reminder on the TV, like, telling them, like, it's 9 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? It's like, that wasn't the case in my country, but apparently in the U.S. they had like an advertising that they would play. So, so, oh, I don't know where my son is. Yeah, that animation was really good. I remember that robot thing. That was so awesome. It was really awesome to see. I remember I had the toy, the a RoboCop toy. It was so awesome. And I never got like that one that we're talking about, like the huge one. I think it's in the end of the first one, because there were two. The second one was a crazy nutcase, but on the first one it was like a just a robot, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but that first one, the design was awesome, the animation was awesome. So yeah, actually now I want to watch that film again. It was so epic, and it's a whole thing about, like, regaining your identity after it was stripped away from you, and getting your humanity back. That film it has so many levels. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, that sort of thing. It's definitely something that stays with you for sure. Anyways, I already hit the 1 hour mark. If you decided to join my stream, I appreciate you for being here. And I'll be ending the stream soon, so thank you for watching. I try to go live Mondays through Thursdays around the same time. As I mentioned multiple times in other streams, I have an illustrated deck of cards. Have a good night. I have an illustrated deck of cards. I have a Redbubble shop with my illustrations that you can find on some really nice merch if you want to check that out. I also have phone backgrounds that you can find on my website as well. And I don't think I'm missing anything else. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope to see you next time. Let me find my music again. Until next time, bye.